Hi, it's Ramsey Dewey at the JX Fight Club in Shanghai, China.
Hi,
Here
I'm
with
Linji, yeah. I'm a student, yeah.
And we're going to talk about Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and a bad habit that I see a lot, and that is grappling starting from the knees. Here, Linji, go and kneel down and face me. So this happens at a lot of schools. They'll start grappling like this, and then it turns into this weird knee wrestling thing that doesn't really resemble a real fight. Okay, so this is a position that doesn't really exist in a jiu-jitsu tournament, and it certainly doesn't exist in a mixed martial arts bout, and it definitely doesn't exist in a self-defense situation. So a common justification that's used to start from the knees is that it's safer, or there's no room to train takedowns because a lot of people train in a small crowded gym. Now if that's the case, here's a safer and more effective alternative. Start from a real position that exists in a jiu-jitsu tournament, or that exists in an MMA fight, or that exists in a self-defense situation. You know, one of the major positions, for example, start in your partner's guard. There's a real position. Now, you might think, well, shouldn't we fight to get the position? Well, if you're going to do that, start from a real position. Start from the feet, start from a dogfight position, start from a sprawl control position, start from half guard position, start from side control, start from back mount. Okay. Now, in any of these positions, one of you will probably have an advantage. For example, here, Linji's got an extreme advantage starting from my back. But that's an excellent drill because it's going to force me to improve my defense and force him to improve his offense. And as a result, we both get way better at jiu-jitsu than we would if we started from the knees. Knee wrestling, doing this thing that doesn't really exist in a fight. So just be realistic, be more realistic about the way you train. If you have a small gym, instead of foregoing takedowns to start from the knees, again, start on the ground, but in real positions. That'll train you how to fight, and if you really are afraid of getting injured falling down, it'll keep you safe. But whenever possible, train your takedowns. Now, if you're really worried about getting hurt with the takedowns, it's because you haven't learned how to fall safely. So what I recommend, spend some time tumbling every single day. Here is my warm-up. We're going to start with lateral drills. All that is rolling sideways like you're going down a hill, except on the knees, right? Then we're going back. And we're doing forward shoulder rolls. If you don't know how to do that, here's how. Look between your legs, kneeling down, reach between the legs, say hi to that person behind you, and roll over, right? All the way across the mat. So we're training falling down, forward, safely. Then I do the same thing going back. So we're practicing a break fall and a roll, right? And of course we're going to train dive rolls. And then the same thing backward. And then cartwheels. And then round-offs. So, add some tumbling into your routine. Do that every single day. Learn how to fall safely. And one other thing. If any of that seems too complicated, start simple. Start by just rocking on your back. Back and forth. Back and forth. Now, roll onto one side with an outstretched arm, landing on the flat of the arm, and then the other side. So what we're doing here is practicing a break fall. Notice I'm keeping my head off the mat. And I'm rolling like a ball, going down. Once you feel comfortable with that, get up, practice a nice technical get up in your fighting stance, and then break fall, by sitting onto the hip, rolling into that same position that we just practiced. And do that a whole bunch of times until you get comfortable being uncomfortable, falling down, so that starting from the knees doesn't even enter your mind anymore. Here's another important exercise to do, in my opinion, to learn to do takedowns safely. We're going to take turns doing takedowns. So first, I'll do one, delivering my partner safely to the floor. And then Linji will get up, and he will do a takedown, whatever takedown he wants. So I get to practice my break falls, he gets to practice his throws, now I'll go. And now he goes. And now I go. And now he goes. And you do that for a while. So here's another thing about kneeling down. It creates a bunch of bad situations and imbalances that shouldn't exist in a fight. If we're on one knee, for example, if I get a hold of the upper body, whether I'm grabbing the gi or pushing on him, grabbing this, now I got this scoopy little takedown. Here, go and do that. Grab the ankle and push on the shoulder, either hand. Just hold it, push there. It shouldn't be that easy to push on your back. Right? So, as an alternative, again, start in a real position, even if it's a bad one. You know what? Especially if it's a bad one. For example, if we're starting here in side control, here, go ahead and let's go live for a little bit. Again, Linji's got a big advantage here. Okay, I'm kind of stuck on the bottom. I've got to learn how to unpin myself. Right? But that just taught me a valuable skill about how to reguard, how to sweep, how to fight for top position, and it taught him a valuable skill, how to maintain top control from a real position. So maybe takedowns aren't your thing. Maybe all you want to do is IBJJF competition where you're a guard puller, and that's okay because the rules of that particular sport in that particular organization don't penalize guard pulling. So why should you start from standing if you're a guard puller? Well, I'll tell you why. If I get in the habit, you're going to kneel down for a second, of trying to pull guard from this position, it's a whole different skill set than trying to pull guard from this position. See, now that's not in my muscle memory. I'm thinking like wrap my leg over his knee or something like that. Here, if I want to pull guard, I've got to do so in a whole different way. And that's a skill set in and of itself. So again, even if you're a guard puller, you know what, especially if you're a guard puller, start from standing and practice your guard pulls so you can do it safely without snapping your partner's legs, for example, and effectively. Thanks for watching. Get out there and train.